Well, if the last three action-packed, drama-drenched days of group conclusions have proved anything, it's that nothing can ever be taken for granted. Brazil's qualification is already assured. Their status as group winners yet to be rubber-stamped. And whilst Cameroon have the slimmest chance of the three sides chasing qualification with them, the way things have progressed over the course of the week, you almost kind of expect them to put it off. Even with Brazil's changes, the size of the task is appreciable. In fact, in terms of the ELO rankings, which is an alternative rating system to the FIFA list that changes on a game-by-game basis, it would actually be the biggest shock in World Cup history in terms of the relative rankings of the two teams. Before they can even worry about the result in the other game tonight, Cameroon must beat Brazil. Tall order for a team who haven't won in 6 against a side who were unbeaten in 17. Now, this is a Cameroonian team for whom goals have been a scarce commodity. Their 3 against Serbia in the last game equalled their tally from the previous 6 matches. And they come up against a defensive unit that can claim to be the best in world football. This, not the archetypal Brazilian side so many of us fell in love with, although they still have an air of the sublime in the final third. But if forward lines win your friends, defences win your tournaments. And this incarnation of the Seleção haven't given the opposition a sniff of a chance out here so far. Cameroon's first target is to have a shot on target. That's something that neither the Swiss nor Serbia managed against Brazil. Then, to breach a defence that's conceded only twice in 9. Even in the context of this remarkable week, a 1-0 Cameroon win would be the headline result of the lot. But does the group stage that's given everything have another remarkable tall tale to tell? Well, Cameroon make 4 changes, 3 of them enforced. Ipasi in goal, Fai, Wu, Ibos and Tolo, Sambo Anguissa and Koundé, and Burmo, Choupo-Moting and Gamala, Abubakar. Edison in goal as Brazil make 9 changes. Dani Alves becomes their oldest ever World Cup player. Eder Militao moves to centre-half. Bremer and Alex Telles make up the back 4. It's Fred, Fabinho, Rodrigo, Anthony, Jesus and Martinelli. So we're underway as Brazil eye the only perfect record in the group. It's time for the indomitable Lions to bare their teeth. Only a win will keep Cameroon's hopes alive. After a week with few parallels, is there another miracle result in the offing? Cameroon, green shirts, red shorts, yellow socks, the nominal home team tonight. So Brazil have changed colours, blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. A sea of yellow all around us. And I'm delighted to say alongside me, former England captain Stuart Pearce.
Evening, Jim. It's absolute pleasure to see that wonderful tribute to Pelé, obviously suffering ill health at the moment, but the best player to ever play our wonderful profession, and we wish him well. Yep, it's going to be a tall ask, I think, for Cameroon this evening, but with the changes, and you hope, for Cameroon's sake, a slight change of mentality potentially from the Brazilians, who might take their foot off the pulse. Maybe that just might open the door.
Well, the other game in this group is Switzerland against Serbia. That underway as well. Brazil, remember, already through. The only way that they won't win the group is if they lose here. Switzerland beat Serbia and there's a 3-goal swing. So Brazil lose by 1 and the Swiss win by 2. Cameroon can only possibly go through if they win and Switzerland don't. It's Manchester United's Anthony working it round the corner. Brazil's first really meaningful attack of the game. Ball played down the left-hand side of the box and kept in. An opportunity for Gabriel Jesus. Flicking it back to the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed cross-come shot. Whipped in by Eder Militao and cleared. And Brazil will pick it up deeper inside the centre circle with Bremer. The Juventus centre-half working it back to his right-hand side for Eder Militao, but an excellent first attack of the game from Brazil. Cameroon with their work cut out. They've got 2 rookie centre-halves playing. One's won 2 caps, one's won 3. The experience of Jean-Charles Castelletto and even more experience of the former Watford defender Nicolas Nkulu, unable to be called upon tonight because of injury. And it's fair to say that Cameroonian back four is going to have its work cut out. But they've stood firm, repelling the first attack. We're 2.5 minutes in and it's 0-0.
Yeah, as I say, Brazil there just went through the thirds of the pitch, cut Cameroon open, and obviously. So a couple of decent blocks in the box by Cameroon, managed to keep that one out, but you can't help thinking it's going to be wave after wave this evening.
Free kick's gone against Brian and Burmo. Brentford man, born in France, who recently declared for Cameroon with an eye on this World Cup, and he started every game for them so far, and he almost seized upon a loose ball out to left back Alex Telles there, but his touch was a bit heavy, and Brazil have it back inside their penalty area. Zaid was saying Brazil have won all but one of the games played between these two nations in history, the sole exception being in the Confederations Cup back in 2003. Cameroon won that day with a late winner from Samuel Eto'o. Last time the two sides met was not necessarily at a salubrious venue that you would think of when you're thinking of these two nations. Was it at the Maracanã? Was it Belo Horizonte? Was it at Fortaleza? No, it was in Milton Keynes. Richarlison got the only goal of the game that day a couple of years ago. He's on the bench tonight. Brazil still with plenty of big hitters waiting in the wings if necessary. Cameroon have possession with the young centre-half Christopher Wu, who's only made 20 top-flight appearances in his career. He plays in France for Rennes. This comfortably the biggest game of his life. To his left is Ebos, who's played in now, left-footed. He's driven it forward. Kamala chasing after it down the left flank, easily knocked away though by Dani Alves, and the referee has given Brazil a free kick over on that far side. 4 minutes gone. It's Cameroon 0, Brazil 0 here on TalkSport.
Just looking at the press from the Brazilian kickoffs. The goalkeeper at Brazil. It's almost a 4-2-4, and they're pushing 4 players on pretty hard across that line, and gives plenty of room for Brazil to play through that 4-man press and then opening up space in behind them. And 2 midfield players have got a lot of work to do to cover those areas.
So what you're saying is that they're too open. I mean, they have to get a positive result tonight. We've said that the only chance they've got of going through is by winning this game, but it's too open an approach.
I wouldn't say it's too open. The 4-man press isn't bad, but they're not pressing aggressively. They're a barrier of 4, allowing Brazil to pick little holes through them and find those spaces in behind.
Excellent play down the Brazilian right-hand side. Anthony fouled, and the first yellow card of the game is shown to Tolo. It's going to be a long night for the Seattle Sounders left back up against Anthony. He's cautioned inside 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's my point. 4 men pressing up pretty high. They play it through the line, and all of a sudden it's 1 versus 1. Anthony turning brilliantly there. As I say, I think that was a definite booking. He's missed him. Well, no, he's got him with the first challenge. He didn't go down, and he made sure with the second and third that he did go down.
Well, Dani Alves is going to take this free kick, and even though Alves is in the starting lineup for Brazil tonight, it's actually their youngest World Cup team since the 2002 final against Germany. And that's notwithstanding the fact that they've got a player who's 7 months past his 39th birthday. He doesn't play at right back these days in club football. He's based in Mexico, plays for UNAM, and plays as a central midfielder, but back in the customary right-back role where he made his name as he wins his 125th cap today. The ball is played forward by the Brazilians through the midfield, and then another free kick is given, and it's going to be another yellow card. The referee coming across, having a word with Fabinho. It's not going to be Fabinho who will receive the caution, it's Eder Militao. I think Fabinho was just acting as defence counsel. Eder Militao picks up the card. So we've seen 2 yellows brandished inside the opening 6.5 minutes of the game. Is that a bookable offence, Stuart?
I don't know whether it was because it followed on so quickly behind the booking for Cameroon, really, that he's brandished the card. What you do wonder and worry is a referee can spoil the game by getting a bit trigger happy, as you say. 6-7 minutes in and we're 2 bookings down.
Well, he's got a reputation for being a bit of a disciplinarian, has Ismail El Fat, the American who takes charge tonight. It's his first game of the tournament, and he's making up for lost time. A couple of yellows. 0-0, 0-0 in the other game as well. So as things stand, Brazil going through, Switzerland will go with them, and it would be Brazil against South Korea and Switzerland against Portugal. Those games Monday and Tuesday at 7 o'clock respectively. You'll hear them both on TalkSport. We've got every game from the 2022 FIFA World Cup on the TalkSport network, part of the 450 plus live matches that we bring you over the course of the season. Cameroon bringing it forward, working into the feed of Andre Frank Zambo and Gisa on the left-hand side of the midfield. Chance for Gamela to try and deliver. He's making a run down towards the byline. Knocked away from him easily enough by Eder Militao. Played out towards Anthony. The Brazilian with a shock of blonde hair. Working forward through the midfield to his club teammate Fred. Fred's giving it away. Cameroon get it back. Easy possession at the back for Wu, who will then find Fai. Collins Fai, who played more than 100 games in the Belgian top flight, now playing his football in Saudi Arabia. Receiving the ball and giving it away very cheaply in the midfield to Fabinho. Strong challenge comes in the centre circle from Wu. But Brazil win it back and just work it that little bit deeper. Alex Telles back for Bremer. And Bremer to Eder Militao. Bremer, incidentally, this is no word of a lie. Sounds like a setup, Stuart. It's not. No word of a lie. Do you know why he's named Bremer?
After Billy Bremer.
After Andy Bremer. He's named after his dad's favourite fullback of the 1990 World Cup.
Surely not. Surely there was better fullbacks in that tournament than Anders Bremer.
How close we have come to having a Pierce playing for Brazil tonight. Collins.
Listen, if you can have a Fred out there, Pierce is not outlandish, I'm telling you. This is after Fred Dimner.
I'd love that to be the case. One named after Andy Bremer, one named after Fred Dibner. Fred Dibner, if you don't know, ask your grandparents.
Steeplejack.
He's still up there. The ball being knocked forward by Wu and headed down at the back by Dani Alves again for Brazil. 0-0, chanceless through the opening 10 minutes here on TalkSport. As the ball is worked back out towards Wu. Finds his goalkeeper, Apassi, second choice keeper coming into this tournament. Very much the junior to Anana, who had a massive fallout with Rigobert Song and left the camp after just one game. Still picking it up at the back again with the aforementioned Bremer. Finding Fred in the midfield, who's chipped one on a half-turn, left-footed. It's a nice ball out to the right-hand side. An opportunity for Jesus to try and make headway. Didn't get as far as he wanted. Cleared out only as far as Fabinho. Ball driven in from him. Fabinho again with a very high up and under, but that's going to be comfortably caught by Davis Apassi. And it remains 0-0. Cameroon without a win in 6. Ranked 43rd in the FIFA list, in the mid-50s in terms of the ELO rankings. Brazil, unsurprisingly, top of both of those lists after a run of only one defeat in the last 31 games, which was when they were beaten by Argentina in the Copa America final in July last year. They're only defeating 32 competitive internationals. And the Brazilians in their blue shirts will be able to bring the ball forward again. Down it comes for Alex Telles. Back inside his own half for Bremer, who moved from one side of the Turin divide to the other, joining Juventus from Torino in a €49 million deal over the summer. And he goes now towards Anthony. Anthony with a sharp injection of pace, a drop of the shoulder, and a ball down the inside right channel that was a little bit too fiercely hit for Gabriel Jesus. Goes out of play, goal kick to Cameroon, and they've got through the opening 10-12 minutes unscathed. It's 0-0 on a night they have to win.
Looking at how Brazil are playing at the moment, the line of effect, I think, is that ball out to Anthony, let him do his magic. Fullback already on a booking, and he's been past him 2 or 3 times already, and looking very confident and composed with the ball at his feet.
Passing with the clearance, a long right-footed ball from the edge of the 6-yard box that is flicked on by Eric Choupo-Moting. As we were saying in the build-up, he's had such a fantastic season. 11 goals in 16 games for Bayern Munich. Twice as many as he got in his entire time at Stoke. Dani Alves, 15 yards inside his own half. Square to Fabinho. Fabinho controlling it, just laying it back through the Midfield again for Brazil. Now there's space down on the left-hand side where Martinelli is hugging the touchline. Rodrigo's ignored him, playing on the left-hand side of the midfield three. Just played in towards Fred instead, but won back comfortably by Koundé. Brazil clear. Fabinho on the half turn. It's a beautiful ball, just lobbed over the top for Anthony. Has got another chance to face up Tolo, who's already on a booking, but has done very well to stand firm that time and will be able to bring it away. Thought he'd won a free kick. Challenge from Fred was legitimate, and Brazil pick it up again. Fabinho back for Bremer. Eder Militao, who played it right back the other night, but playing in his more customary centre-half position today. Brazil work it forward for Gabriel Jesus. It's cleared by a boss. Out of play for a Brazil throw. 15 yards from the corner flag. And we're through 13 minutes at 0-0. Still 0-0 in the other game in the group as well. Between Serbia and Switzerland. Ball in for Martinelli. Looping header. And slightly unorthodox but effective save from a Passe, who was off his line and instinctively threw a left hand up. Got enough contact on it to tip Martinelli's header over the bar. And out of play for the first corner of the night. Yeah, beautiful crossfield pass there. Martinelli coming in, and he's tried to put power on it, and because he was trying to generate more power, I think he lost accuracy. Maybe just a little looping header, but good save all the same by Passe. Zivkovic hits the post for Serbia. 0-0 in that game. A Serbian win might put them through. 0-0 in this one as well. The first Brazilian corner is too deep. Jesus got on the end of it, but was falling backwards as he made contact and just heads it high and wide, and out of play for a goal kick. If Serbia were to take the lead in that game, they would move above Switzerland into second place in the group and relegate Cameroon to fourth. If Cameroon and Serbia were both to win, as unlikely as that might sound, it could well go down to goal difference, the goals for, and potentially to their respective disciplinary records as well. Well, we saw that become a factor the other night. Poland and Mexico doing battle. It's Fabinho winning it back in the midfield for Brazil. Cameroon have the better disciplinary record coming into the game, although it's all tied now, 4 yellow cards apiece. Martinelli bringing it forward. A long way to go before it goes to yellow cards in this game. Fred on the edge of the penalty area. Anthony just trying to nod it down, but he couldn't find Dani Alves, and it's whacked away by Tolo, just trying to get it up towards Abubakar, who I don't think has had a touch, certainly not a meaningful one yet, as the leader of the line for Cameroon. And Brazil are able to get the ball back before he can get a touch of it in this attack. Rodrigo in the midfield, wearing 21, back for Fabinho. Surprisingly, this is his first ever World Cup appearance. Martinelli coming in off the left flank. As he makes his first start for his country tonight. Back for Fabinho, and now to Bremer. Played forward again by the Brazilians in towards Fabinho's feet. He'll just turn and calmly lay to his left-hand side. Alex Telles, the Manchester United defender on loan at Sevilla, shipping it forward down the line for Martinelli. Back it comes to Rodrigo. Telles is still there waiting. Rolls his studs over the top of the ball and passes down for Martinelli. A swift ball inside the penalty area, looking for his club teammate Jesus. It's cleared out for Dani Alves. He plays it over the top down towards the corner flag, where Anthony gets chased and wins the corner off Tolo. Second of the game for Brazil with 16 minutes gone. 0-0.
Yeah, I would say Cameroon need to work a little bit harder to stop balls through their line, especially that front four as they impose that, because once it comes through that line, it's almost man for man beyond that, and you've got a big problem, because the two wide players have got the ability to go past the fullbacks, as we've seen already.
5 blue shirts in the penalty area. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinging corner, but only after the American referee has done his best to try and calm things down. Jesus is in there, wriggling, trying to find an opportunity for a clear run. Delivery when it comes in was not the best. And Brian Burma was then fouled by Alex Telles. And it's a free kick that will be taken by Cameroon in their right-back position. 17 gone, it's 0-0.
See, the referee's booked 2 players for tackles, and Martinelli just stands over the ball, stops the Cameroon player taking a quick free kick. That's got to be a booking for me.
Cameroon will be able to play it forward. Only 2 players in the starting lineups tonight who are on yellow cards and who have missed the round of 16 tie if they were booked this evening and their country qualified. It's Fred for Brazil. Brazil already through, but Collins Spy, the right back for Cameroon, is also walking that disciplinary tightrope. Cameroon have another free kick. They'll be happy with the start that has been made. Gamela, long crossfield ball down towards Brian Mbeumo. Heads it on, but nowhere in particular. He's miles away from Abubakar, who's really isolated. And they're playing with Mbeumo getting forward down the right whenever he can, and Gamela down the left. Eric Choupo-Moting playing as a 10 just off Abubakar, but Abubakar is just out on his own, miles away from anywhere for the majority of Cameroon's attacking phases of play. So just about a first touch for Ederson, who in his trademark start calmly side foots it out from the back through the midfield towards Fred. Anthony's got it now and lays it back for Eder Militao. Square to his left for Bremer. Alex Telles controlling it, stopping, back for Fabinho. Fabinho very quickly closed down in the midfield by Zambo Anguissa. But the ball ricochets off the former Fulham man and goes all the way through to our right-hand side for Ederson. Tomorrow, more live World Cup action for you. The knockout stage starting at 3 o'clock. It's Netherlands against the United States. And then tomorrow night, after Argentina face Australia at 7 in the round of 16, it's straight to live and exclusive radio commentary of Tyson Fury against Derek Chisora, the trilogy for the WBC World Heavyweight title. Eric Choupo-Moting trying to wriggle his way through inside the penalty area. Fabinho coming across, can assuage the threat, knock it away, but the touch that was too loose from Anthony in the midfield. Presented it straight to Zambo Anguissa. And an opportunity for Wu to bring it forward from the back for Cameroon. So Fury Chisora tomorrow. You can listen on air via your smart speaker or download the TalkSport app for free. Start the night with Messi and finish it with Fury on TalkSport. Zambo Anguissa out for Choupo-Moting. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Left back plays it in. It was a decent cross from Tolo. Strong and fierce. Whipped in with pace. Ederson can punch it away and find safety. And it'll be cleared down the left-hand side by the Brazilians. Headed down through the midfield and brought under control pretty comfortably at the back by Boss. There's been a goal in the other game. It's Xherdan Shaqiri who has given Switzerland the lead. Switzerland leading Serbia by a 1-0, and that makes this result academic if it stays that way. Although Switzerland would potentially have the chance of winning the group if Brazil lost here and Switzerland won that, depending on the respective margins of victory. But as things stand right now, the group is Brazil 7, Switzerland 6, Cameroon 2, Serbia 1. Fred on the right-hand side of the midfield. Brazil bringing it forward, dominating possession. Cameroon, when they've gotten around the final third, have looked quite lively. Fred cutting back inside, laying it off for Dani Alves. Working in conjunction with Anthony, who plays it to his left-hand side. Alex Telles round the corner for Martinelli. Martinelli comes in off the left-hand touchline. Lays it back for Alex Telles. Swinging inside the penalty. Advances to Fred on the penalty spot, but he's no Richarlison. And it's gone out of play. VAR deflection, in all fairness, for another corner.
Well, that might have been closer than we thought at first viewing. I thought he just skied it over the bar. But... well, no, I think he was going up and over anyway and just given the face.
Yeah, brushed off Tolo's forehead. Goes out of play for Brazil's third corner. So Switzerland leading Serbia 1-0. This one's 0-0. Brazil winning the group, Switzerland going through with them as things stand with 21 minutes gone. The corner on the Brazilian left in towards the near post was a really poor delivery, but Rodrigo's got an instant opportunity to try and do better, because his first one was just hammered away, slashed clear at the near post and out for another corner. So Rodrigo takes a step forward, then another couple of steps back. Now addresses the ball in towards that congested near post there. It's a better ball in. Initial header from the Cameroonian defender was effective enough. Choupo-Moting's back defending. And the last touch comes off Telles, goes out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Davis Apassi, the Cameroonian goalkeeper. Cameroon 0, Brazil 0 on TalkSport. Midway through the first half, And these are the thoughts of Stuart Pearce.
Just got a quick question for you. Do you think we're not seeing as much grappling and holding in the box at this World Cup? Because there's not too much I've been seeing in conjunction to that. Referees seem to be right on top of it and seem to have outlawed it now.
The ball gone out of play for another goal kick. I am conscious, Stuart. I'm very sorry. You just asked me a question and I wasn't listening.
I'm just pleased you're conscious, my friend.
Well, 70.
We're just suggesting about the grappling. Do you think it's been outlawed now? The referees have got on top of the grappling at corners.
Yeah, we haven't seen so much of it.
No.
And I think that first England game, where there were the couple of very high-profile incidents, have probably been a wake-up call. That the referees have consciously decided that they have to penalise all grappling, including the kind of grappling that we saw on Maguire and Stones earlier in that game, and that the penalty that went against England that night was I think the referees feel was a correct decision, and that is where the bar is. That anything from there upwards will see penalties given, and as a consequence, we've seen very little grappling from any defensive sides from set pieces in the days subsequent to that. Free kick is taken by the Brazilians. Now they've worked it back inside their own half. Forward he goes towards Fabinho. Fabinho just driving it forward towards Martinelli. He'll control it on the left flank, then with the edge of the penalty area. Martinelli taking a touch, trying to get round to the byline. He's done that, pulls it back. Jesus couldn't get the touch that he needed. What he give for a goal tonight? 13 without a goal for club and country. Gabriel Jesus. Tito would be delighted if he could get off the mark here. Ball inside the penalty area from Alex Telles is headed away before it gets to Anthony. Back it comes in from Dani Alves. Fred can help it on its way. Down towards Anthony once more. Anthony turning it onto his left foot, clipping it inside the penalty area. Well defended by the covering Wu, who got across in front of his goalkeeper. And also Martinelli to steer it behind for corner number 5.
I think it's going to be a very long evening for both Tolo at left back and Fai at right back. They're finding it very, very difficult to deal with the wide players of Brazil.
Corner taken short. It's back for Anthony. Anthony's got plenty of time on the edge of the penalty area, but his delivery wasn't great. Needed much more elevation. It's cleared, comes back to him. He then volleys a pass back towards Alex Telles. Telles working for Gabriel Jesus. Rodrigo towards the edge of the penalty area. Tried a little give and go with Martinelli, but that didn't come off. And it's another opportunity for Cameroon to try and bring it forward. Koundé, who made good progress before being fouled by Fabinho. And Cameroon have a free kick on halfway. 0-0 the score, 25 minutes gone. And it's still Switzerland leading Serbia by a goal to 0 with Jurgen Shaqiri. And that means that Brazil 7, Switzerland 6 at the top of the group. Brazil will be going through to take on South Korea, who knocked out Uruguay earlier today with a last-minute goal from Hwang Hee-chan. And Switzerland will be the runners-up in this group, Group G, and they would face Portugal here at Lusail Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Brazil's path is opening up very nicely for them through towards the semi-finals. Got a free kick, which will be taken on the halfway line. It's Koundé for Cameroon who stands over the ball. Pierre Koundé, who plays his club football in Greece for Olympiakos. Plays it back to the centre halves. Down it comes for Wu again. Wu to the right-hand side for Sambo Anguissa. Now for Koundé. Sambo Anguissa back through the midfield quickly. Worked out to the left flank where it's going to be chased after by Gamela. Wearing 6, the left winger has done well. Boubacar turning inside the penalty area. Back towards Gamela again, but Fabinho is able to knock it away. An equalising goal for Serbia. 1-1 in the other game in this group, which is live for you right now over on TalkSport 2, of course. Alexander Mitrovic with that equaliser for Serbia. So it's back as you were at the start of the night. Brazil 3 points clear at the top of the group. Switzerland 3 behind them have 4 points. Cameroon and Serbia both on 2. Well, that's good news as far as Cameroon are concerned, because they don't need Switzerland winning that other game If they can pull off a miracle here, the Switzerland win would still eliminate them. But Serbia with the equalising goal. And just keeps it bubbling nicely. 0-0 between Cameroon and Brazil. In a match that has been largely chanceless. Ball brought down in the midfield. An opportunity for Rodrigo to bring it forward. Rise the first challenge. Jesus makes a run ahead of him. Rodrigo will still go. It's clipped from behind. And the referee is going to have to take some disciplinary action here against Koundé. He had a little nibble at Rodrigo and didn't get him. And then got back to his feet and had another go. Did bring him down about 8 yards outside the penalty area in a central position. And Koundé, unsurprisingly, is yellow carded.
Just trying to make the point there of it's too easy to pray through the barrier that is the front line of Cameroon. You could take 4 or 5 players out with one pass, and the middle of the field is wide open to receive the ball, as we saw there. Literally one player from each team in the middle of the pitch. The rest of them probably 40 yards difference between back line and front line of Cameroon. And you can't do that. You have to have more lines and more layers through your defensive press.
Well, I'll come back to that point in a moment and get you thinking on what needs to happen, who needs to move where within the Cameroonian setup in order to try and alleviate the space that is being created. First of all, this free kick, which is fractionally right of centre, but not by much, only by a couple of feet. The wall has been walked back. It's 6 strong, 5 and the draft excluder down behind it. 4 Brazilian players are standing over the free kick, but Rodrigo looks to be the favourite. I just wonder whether Dani Alves might try and roll back the years and have an attempt from here. As a player that scored 8 international goals in his 16-year career for Brazil. It's Rodrigo that certainly looks the favourite. Brazil have lined up a 3-man mini wall in front of the Cameroon quintet. Goalkeeper's not going to be able to see much, but Rodrigo blasted in, it hits that Cameroon 5-man wall and it's cleared. Abubakar chasing after it. The loose ball breaks for Fabinho. It's clipped forward then down the left-hand touchline towards Martinelli. He can't get there, goes out of play, and it's a goal kick, which will be taken by Apassi for Cameroon. So you talked about the amount of space there is. They've got to try and make attacking sacrifices, I guess, to try and get a grip of the game in the midfield. How do they go about it in terms of the personnel they've got? How do they bridge these gaps? It's
compactness and layers is what you need. At the moment, Cameroon have got 4 front players all in a line. So they've got a layer of 4, and then beyond that, they've got a layer of 2, and then 4. The distance between the back and the front is too vast, and one ball through the middle takes a layer of 4 players out of the game, and you can't do that. You've got to have, and you look at Brazil press, you've got a striker, which is one layer, then you've got behind him 3 midfield players, another layer, then you've got Fabinho, another layer, then you've got the back line, another layer. You've got 4 layers to get through before you can even talk about exposing them as a team. So Choupo-Moting should be dropping back and play as a 10 rather than up front alongside Abubakar. The wingers should play a little bit deeper, exactly.
And more narrow?
Exactly, because at the moment, and press more aggressively. You either drop off and be compact, or you press more aggressively, collectively together. Either way, the distance between the back line and the front line is too vast. Too much space in the middle of the pitch.
Cameroon trying to make something happen in and around the Brazilian final third against a Brazilian back line that has yet to face a shot on target in the tournament, and which has only conceded twice in its last 9 games. Alisson's record in international football is simply extraordinary. I know he's not playing today, and it's Ederson who's in goal. Ederson's pretty tidy as well. Here's Rodrigo, brings it forward, and again they brought him down. Collins Fye with the challenge yellow card for him. If Cameroon can miraculously make it through, he'll miss the round of 16 tied through suspension. But he probably thought he had no option as Rodrigo just burst through that vacant midfield area, and Fye coming in from the side brought him down. Another free kick to Brazil.
Once again, it was the goalkeeper on that occasion, Ederson, whose ball straight through the lines, took out 5 players. All of a sudden, Brazil picked the ball up, good turn, and you're running straight at the back line stroke goalkeeper.
Safai in the book, Koundé and Tolo as well. So that's the defensive midfielder and both fullbacks. Rodriguez had a little sighter from distance. This one is wider. It's the same kind of distance from goal, but it's 5 yards to the left of the previous free kick some 2 or 3 minutes ago that he hit straight into the wall. I wonder whether Dani Alves might plead seniority here, the Brazilian standing captain for the day, and take the responsibility, pull rank on Rodrigo. Cameroon again with 5 in the wall and a man lying down behind it. Will they go goalkeeper side? Will he try and whip it over the wall? Dani Alves has spotted it down. He takes a couple of steps back and he will take charge.
This is only, in my opinion, going up and down over the wall. And once again, at the end of this, I'll say, why don't they go goalkeeper's side?
He's hit it right-footed, and the goalkeeper came across. It got over the wall. It did come down, but not in time, and the goalkeeper did have it covered. He didn't have the dip, nor did he really have the pace on it, because the passer had trotted across his line very easily and would have had it covered had it dipped underneath the bar. It remains 0-0 with 34 gone.
Once again, frustration ebbs through my body as Marcus Rashford shows people how it should be done. Hit the open side of the goal. You'll get it on target. The goalkeeper's got to save it. But oh no, we much prefer to attempt to go over the top, miss the target and get an ooh from the crowd, albeit Dani Alves.
And that's why we've only seen 2 goals scored from direct free kicks in the tournament so far. Here's Eric Choupo-Moting in the midfield. And Brian and Burmo. The Brentford man who's been in decent form for the Bees in the Premier League this season, working forward towards the edge of the penalty area, but Brazil can bring it away, and Eder Militao stepping up for the defensive line can gallivant forward some 20 yards, gets to halfway and lays it off to his right-hand side for Anthony. Anthony coming in off the right-hand touchline, will run down towards the corner flag and will try and take on Tolo. He can't beat him, and it goes out of play for a throw which will be taken by the Brazilians and quickly taken by Dani Alves and work back for Anthony again. We talked about Cameroon, and they're the side with the pressing need to get the positive result tonight. Brazil with the margin for error in terms of finishing top of the group. And even more margin for error now because Serbia have just taken the lead. They 2-1 up. And that's a goal that would take them through at Switzerland's expense. So the Swiss led in that game. But Serbia have turned it around, and it's now Brazil 7, Serbia 4, Switzerland 3, Cameroon 2 is how the group stands right now. Serbia, who were a goal down in their match with Cameroon, you might remember, they went 3-1 up with 3 in a 10-minute spell, and then Cameroon came back with 2 in double quick time to draw 3-3. Serbia have conceded first again tonight and been able to turn it around. And as things stand right now, they're in pole position to go through along with Brazil. Fred driving the ball out to the left flank. Martinelli has been able to control it quite beautifully. Plays it towards the edge of the penalty area. Slightly heavy touch from Rodrigo. And Boss was at pains to point out that he didn't make any contact with Rodrigo as he took a tumble inside the area. No claims from the Brazilian that it had been anything other than a fall. Cameroon gathered away, but Brazil recycled it and will bring it forward again with Fred, who tried to fashion the ball with the outside of the left boot and got the angle all wrong and hit Zambo Anguissa and rolls through for his goalkeeper, Ipase. So we talked about Cameroon and what they need to do. But what do Brazil need to do to create more opportunities against this Cameroonian side who haven't won in 6 games and who are ranked best part of 50 places below them in the world list?
Firstly, to counter what Cameroon are doing in the shape of their team, good movement in the centre of the pitch to receive and get turned. And secondly, after that, supply the 2 wide players. They've got the beating of the fullbacks, especially Anthony on the right-hand side. And obviously both have been booked now. Martinelli
for Brazil, getting away from Zambo Anguissa, and he can drive forward, and he's got away from Fai. Referee's played the advantage. Fai might be in trouble in a minute. It's back for Anthony. Left footed shot from him, saved by the goalkeeper. Now the referee played the advantage, but Fai fouled his man. He was booked a few minutes ago, maybe not quite a yellow card offence the second time of asking. The referee didn't see it as such. But Cameroon now have a player down, injured inside their own penalty area. It is Fi. I don't know whether it is an injury that is perhaps been inflicted by his concern that he might be about to get a second yellow card. But he's down, injured. There was a clip of heels. He lost his boot and making the challenge as Brazil try to bring it forward. But Fi isn't going to get a second yellow card. Cameroon will remain with 11 on the field, but Brazil still remain without a goal against them.
Yeah, as I say, Cameroon will be quite delighted with this, that they're still in the game. It wasn't actually Fi that lost his boot. We're just looking at the replay of that. It was Martinelli. So, as I say, they're under a little bit of pressure here, Cameroon, but as long as it stays 0-0, they'll be quite content with that. What they've got to do on turnover of possession as well, probably deliver the ball in behind a little bit quicker if they can. Opportunity just then, and Choupo-Moting there just a bit slow delivering the ball in behind.
Rigobert Song, former Liverpool and West Ham defender, former teammate of Stewart's at the Hammers, just down giving the instructions to his team whilst Fi receives a little bit of treatment. Song in black trench coat, black baseball cap, but greying of beard these days. Looks a character, I think it's fair to say. He always was a character by reputation in his playing days. A man who played in 4 World Cups, who won 137 caps for Cameroon. Actually sent off against Brazil in the World Cup in the group stage back in 1994. Brazil also beat Cameroon in the group stage in 2014 when Neymar got a couple. John Matip scored the goal for Cameroon that day. Brazil getting the point that they needed to qualify for the round of 16. A reminder that the other game in this group, Serbia 2, Switzerland 1, Shaqiri giving the Swiss the lead. Mitrovic equalised 6 minutes later. 9 minutes after that, Vlahovic put the Serbs ahead. And they will be going through with group winners Brazil as things stand right now. But you can't make any predictions on the strength of what we've seen this week. 50 minutes of football that remains is a long, long time. Anything could happen. Also, during this break in play, let me remind you of the games coming up tomorrow. Netherlands against the USA kicks off at 3 on TalkSport. Argentina against Australia at 7. We've got them both covered for you. And then England in action against Senegal up country in the desert at Al Bayt. And that is Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Build up at 5 on TalkSport ahead of that 7 p.m. kickoff with Adrian, Stuart, Faith Carruthers and myself on Sunday night. 0-0 here in Lusail tonight with Brazil in blue shirts and just about everybody else in attendance in yellow, it seems. Bremer, midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line, plays it to his left for Alex Telles. Telles driving it forward. Good anticipation came from the Cameroonian back line. Jesus was just waiting for the ball to drop his way. Abubakar picking it up. Zambon Gisa giving him the return ball. Abubakar chipping inside the penalty area, and a good defensive header stopped, and Burmo getting the chance for a spectacular volley and an attempt on Edison's goal. Brazil have had very little defending to do, but came up with the right answers there.
They certainly do. Great chip ball into the box, and Buemo looked as though he was getting onto it, and Bremer just come back and just helped it on to his goalkeeper. Good defending. So 221 minutes into their World Cup campaign, Brazil still haven't faced a shot on target at this World Cup. Rodrigo finding Fred. Fred back towards Fabinho, but he couldn't get there in time. Fine, clears his lines. Choupo-Moting trying to make something happen against Eder Militao, came off second best. And Fred plays the way that he's facing, back out of the centre circle to his centre-half, Bremer. And Brazil will build from deep. It has the feel of a Brazilian side that has 9 changes tonight, that is giving a farewell performance to Dani Alves at right back. They've been the better team, but haven't had the cutting edge. I remember in the last game against Switzerland, it took them until the last 7 minutes of normal time to find the breakthrough. That wonderfully taken half volley from Casemiro. The goals came in the second half of the first game against Serbia as well. They'll bring it forward here, will Brazil, but lose out. It has been the tournament of shocks, been the tournament of goals from substitutes, of late goals. It's also been the
tournament of 0-0 at half times. Now we could be getting another one here. We're 3 minutes away from it. Free kick to Cameroon, 10 yards outside their own penalty area, which Apassi will come across to take. So the other game going well as far as Cameroon are concerned, and all the time this stays 0-0. They're a big howitzer of a punch away from an almighty shot. And Burmo on the right flank, just playing it forward down that right-hand side of the penalty area. Out comes Edison, takes a touch. Always a goalkeeper to back his footballing ability. It's a lovely ball through the midfield. He found Rodrigo. Good 1-2 between him and Fred. Now Rodrigo brings it forward. Straight pass for Anthony, overhit. And the run was shepherded by Tolo. The ball can go back to the goalkeeper, but it was a more fluid passing move from Brazil, starting with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was. As I say, Edison on that occasion playing through the lines, and probably a little too easy at times to play through Cameroon, and that will be the Achilles heel that undoes them today, I think.
Cameroon aside that beat Algeria on away goals to qualify, having finished top of the group that contained the Côte d'Ivoire. So that was a decent achievement for them to make it through to the World Cup. Well, they reached the quarter-final in 1990, the first African nation ever to reach the last eight, beaten famously by England on the day that Roger Miller was almost king of the road, but Gary Lineker came back with a couple. England won in 3-2. Cameroon have still only won 4 of their 25 World Cup matches in their history. 3 of those in that 1990 campaign. The only victory they've had in the 30-plus years since then, coming against Saudi Arabia in 2002. And they boast just 1 solitary point in the 9 matches since then. 0-0 in what is officially a slow burner in Lusail. Far from that in the other game. 2-2. Serbia just hit the post, and Switzerland went down the other end and scored an equalising goal. And Bolo, who scored the winner against Cameroon, the Cameroonian-born player, has just scored his second of this tournament for Switzerland. 2-2, and it's the Swiss that are now back up into second in the group in another extraordinary denouement to the group stage in this 2022 World Cup. 2-2 the score there, and the news just filters around the ground. You just heard that roar out of nothing. So 2-2 in that game, and this one 0-0 as we approach first half stoppage time, and fourth official Ma Ning indicates 4 additional minutes to be played.
Well, we know there's going to be a few chops and changes in this table, and it's certainly panning out that way.
Serbia, the great entertainers. They weren't against Brazil, but 3-3 against Cameroon, 2-2 in the first half against Switzerland. Free kick has been given against Wu for a handball. And it's taken quickly by Alex Telles. Alex Telles out to the right-hand side. He does look, Rigobert Song, as though he's trying to channel his inner Snoop Dogg with the way that he's dressed tonight.
There's a bit of Snoop in there. I can see where you're coming from with that, Jim.
Ball over the top towards Song's side's back line, cleared out only as far as Martinelli, takes it on across the edge of the area. Right-footed shot went through the hands of the goalkeeper, but onto the roof of the net and to safety. He's not looked convincing, Davis Apassi, the Cameroonian goalkeeper, but got enough on it, and it's a corner rather than an opening goal for Brazil.
Well, I think Apassi there was probably fortunate he didn't get a bit more on it, because that would have slowed the momentum of the ball down and probably just popped it over his head and into the net. Just kept it going enough to get it over the crossbar. Good effort there by Martinelli, drove across the box, just opened up on his right foot. 6 corners without reply to Brazil. Here's the latest of them in first half stoppage time. Back for Rodrigo, and into the side netting. Well, that familiar corner in towards the inside right channel in the penalty area that so many countries have in their armoury. Nobody picking up Rodrigo's run, but it wasn't an accurate shot. Cameroon 0, Brazil 0 it remains. And Rodrigo, the Real Madrid player, still waits for his first ever World Cup goals. He's scored the one for his country so far. Ball headed away through the Brazilian midfield by Fabinho. Return by Zombo and Gisa. 2-2
in the Switzerland-Serbia game. The Swiss going through in second place behind group winners Brazil as things stand at the moment. Brazil not guaranteed to win this group, of course, as Cameroon playing inside the area. Oh, what a save from Edison. The first effort on target that Brazil have faced in the tournament. They so nearly scored from it, and Burmo powering a header into the ground, and Edison threw himself to his right-hand side to tip it away to safety, and then Brazil, with Eder Militao, can complete the clearance. One good Cameroonian move. They got to the byline on the left, and Burmo with a powerful, accurate header and an excellent piece of goalkeeping.
It was, as I say, brilliant cross to the far post, and Buemo headed it, and I think heading it into the ground has took some of the pace off it. I'm sure that's the case. Enabled Edison to dive across theatrically. I'm going to throw in there, I think. Probably looked a better save than it actually was. Yeah, I think the pace of the ball was deadened by the heading into the ground.
It was relatively close to him, but his body weight was going to his left, the ball across him to his right, and he adjusted, stuck a hand out, but it was quite close to him. He didn't have to stretch for it, and it remains 0-0, but Burma the first player to have an attempt on target against this Brazilian side in this World Cup. And that's as close as either side have come to scoring, really. It's 0-0 coming up for half-time. Fred on the edge of the centre circle. Ball played down towards Martinelli. 2-2 at half-time in the other game in this group. That's the highest scoring first half we've seen in the tournament in any group game. And it means that Switzerland are in the box seat to go through with Brazil, who, as we reach half-time in this game, haven't found a way through, but their defence still hasn't been breached. And Brazil looking comfortable. Brian and Burmo coming close for Cameroon in first half stoppage time. A couple of nervy saves from Apassi at the other end. Brazil making 9 changes, playing like a side that have made 9 changes. Also playing like a side who know there's not a huge amount of jeopardy. Half-time in the Sale, it's Cameroon 0, Brazil 0. Yeah, just to reiterate the situation at the moment. Were Cameroon to score the next goal of the night, they will climb above both Switzerland and Serbia and would find themselves second in the group and in that qualification position along with Brazil. So things still finally poised. I just think back 24 hours to the start of the second halves yesterday, where Spain and Germany were both winning, and it looked as though it was going to be a routine night. It could hardly have been less routine. Oh, we're going to see similar kind of drama here. The final 45 minutes of group stage football in this 2022 World Cup. It is the first time in 60 years that Brazil have played the first group stage of a World Cup and not scored a first half goal. Will they be able to maintain their 100% record? It would be the only side to get out of the group with a 100% record if they win here. They're kicking from left to right, and they change kit, blue shirts, white shorts, with the yellow numbering. Cameroon also with yellow numbering on their green shirts, yellow socks and red shorts. They kick from right to left. They have to win this game. At the moment, with the scoreline elsewhere, 2-2 between the Swiss and the Serbs, it is Switzerland that are going through. Brazil would be group winners. Anthony trying to get on the end of a long Edison ball out from the back, and it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Cameroonian left, their near touchline with the fullback Tolo. These the sides. A passing in goal for Cameroon. Fai, Wu, Ebos and Tolo, Zambo Ngisa and Koundé, and a front four of Burmo, Abubakar, Choupo-Moting and Gamela. And Brazil, Edison in goal, Dani Alves, Eder Militao, Bremer and Alex Telles. Fred, Fabinho, Rodrigo, Anthony Jesus and Martinelli. Cameroon bring it forward down the right flank, and Burmo certainly has that burst of pace about him, and he has the ability to worry the back line. His cross fielded by Bremer, who heads it behind for Cameroon's first corner of the night, and this might be their best avenue towards the goal, Stuart.
Yeah, super run there, Buemo. Just arced his run down the right-hand side and just couldn't beat the first man, Bremer, to get across him, where he had 2 against 1 in Cameroon favour.
So can they get the set-piece delivery right? Koundé's going to take it. Brazil defending zonally have 2, 4, 6, 7 in and around the 6-yard box. Choupo-Moting the only Cameroonian player in there. There are 4 making their runs from deep in towards the edge of the penalty area. Alex Telles is taking a heavy fall and he's down hurt. Play stops because it's deemed to be a head injury. He headed the ball clear, and a very awkward fall, and the American referee stopped play immediately. When it restarts, it will be a drop ball to Cameroon out on the right flank, but they're concerned for Alex Telles, and the medical staff are being waved on instantly.
Yeah, I think he's hit his knee, to be fair. He was holding his knee as he's on the floor.
Yeah, it looks a bad one, but should the game be stopped for a knee injury inside the penalty area?
Well, the only thing I would say is it's inside the penalty area and in the eye line of the goalkeeper. I've seen every time a player goes down at this World Cup, play's been stopped. So this one, I can quite understand the justification for it.
So he's down receiving treatment, and that gives us an opportunity to go round the grounds elsewhere back home in the league, starting with a goal at Peterborough. Ian Stringer.
A quarter of the way through the game, Peterborough have an equaliser. Peterborough 1, Barnsley 1. It's Jack Taylor with his 4th of the season. Poku with a cross from the right-hand side. Free 8 yards out and headed down into the bottom corner. Peterborough 1, Barnsley 1.
And to Portman Road, Alfie Reynolds.
1 minute's gone, Ipswich Town 1, Fleetwood 0. Ipswich still leading thanks to Luke Wolfenden's goal inside the opening 2 minutes. Fleetwood have been forced into a change with Dan Batty replacing Paddy Lane. 21.5 minutes gone. It's Ipswich Town 1, Fleetwood 0.
At the Uniball, Graham Beecroft.
Where it's Bolton Wanderers 0, Bristol Rovers 1. A very early goal for Bristol Rovers. They almost got a second as well after 10 minutes. Deep cross from the right. Clark met it beyond the far post, but Bolton got bodies on the line and scrambled the ball clear. Bolton 0, Bristol Rovers 1.
And in League 2, Stevenage against Barrow, Ian Abraham.
Stevenage 1, Barrow 0. Jake Reeves from 25, 30 yards out. Such a good strike, Jim. Paul Farman in the Barrow goal didn't even move. Stevenage 1, Barrow 0.
Well, the good news is that Alex Telles is OK. He's back on his feet. Abubakar, who's a teammate of Alex Telles when they were at Porto, raced over to make sure that his mate was OK. He is. He's back on his feet, able to continue after that knee problem. And we're back underway. But Switzerland have retaken the lead. It's Serbia 2, Switzerland 3 in that astonishing topsy-turvy game. Remo Freuler, 3 minutes into the second half. It's live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. And the Swiss win that, then Cameroon are out, irrespective of what happens here. But as things stand, it's 3-2 to Switzerland. If they were to score another couple, it just puts a little bit of jeopardy in Brazil's mind, because they know that they would potentially be in danger if they were to lose this game of not winning the group. Here's Gamela, the left winger, finding Zambo and Gisa, clipping in inside the 6-yard box. Choupo-Moting going up for it for Cameroon. Cleared out from Burma. Abubakar from a tight angle across the face of goal, but wide. A little bit more attacking endeavour in this second half from Cameroon. They've had a couple of sights of goal. That one's gone wide. But 5 minutes since the restart, it's Cameroon 0, Brazil 0. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, really good play there. Abubakar just looking at the effort from behind the goal, and just looks as that might squeeze in the far post, but he's hit it with his right foot and it's just curled away. Goalkeeper had it comfortably covered. And once again, I think his Telles gone down again from that heavy fall earlier. And I'm not sure he'll be continuing.
Well, this is a problem because they've already got Alexandro, a left back, missing because of the hip injury that he picked up against Switzerland. If Alex Telles is unable to continue, you would imagine it would mean that Marquinhos would come on. And that might see Eno Militao move back to fullback again. And Brazil's injury problems are beginning to rack up. Alexandro, Danilo, Neymar, now Alex Telles as well. And it doesn't look as though he's going to be able to continue, having received a couple of minutes of treatment and then playing for another 30 seconds and now receiving another couple of minutes of treatment. This clearly is a big concern as far as Tite, the Brazilian coach, is concerned. And Tite is going to step down after the tournament, the man that led Brazil to the quarters in 2018. It's his 79th match in charge of Brazil tonight, Stuart, and they've lost only 5, which is half decent.
That's not a bad record at all. By the way, don't tell Aid that the Posh got an equaliser. I think he wasn't at his desk.
No, he knows.
Keep it quiet.
He knows. I won't tell him, Jack Taylor. 1-1.
He don't know.
Still, the other games as they were, Alex Telles is making his way down behind the goal now. He's not going to be able to continue. Marquinhos will come on, and Brazil will reshuffle the back line as a result of that. And so play restarts with this goal kick from Edison. It's a huge long ball forward, chested down on the edge of the box by Jesus. Rodrigo trying to get in there. Jesus might yet. Out comes the goalkeeper, gets something on it to block it, then falls into his own centre half, and in doing so, he's able to drop onto the ball.
Yeah, it looks as though it's going to be a triple sub from Brazil there. Not just the one with Telles coming off, but certainly 2 or 3, and he's given a couple of them, whether it's to spur them into a bit of oomph or alternatively just to rest 1 or 2. I think they've done enough.
Yeah, Marquinhos is coming on. Bruno Guimaraes is down there getting ready for action. I think it's Pedro who's down there as well for what will be his World Cup debut. So that would mean that 24 of the 26-man squad have seen some action over the course of this tournament. Cameroon on the way forward with the full-back. Tolo delivering from this left flank. It took a near post flick from Abubakar, didn't find Choupo-Moting in behind him. But Cameroon in a position that they might yet be able to work something. Tolo down the left hand side of the penalty area. Abubakar, big, tall, burly chested striker, laying it back. A shot comes in from Koundé, but you can file that one under optimistic, and he sent it spiralling over the top right hand corner and out of play for a goal kick. So, here come the changes. Marquinhos, the first man on. And that's for Alex Telles. And Marquinhos is just going to go out and fill in at left back by the look of it. The next player to come on is going to be Everton Ribeiro. It isn't Pedro, it's Everton Ribeiro who will come on, the Flamengo winger who scored a couple of goals in qualifying. He's only seen 20 minutes of international football in the last year. He's going to come on for Fred. And Bruno Guimaraes for Rodrigo. The Newcastle man introduced for his 10th cap. He came on for 40 minutes against the Swiss. He gets almost as long as that tonight. So a triple change as far as Brazil are concerned. Marquinhos, Everton Ribeiro and Bruno Guimaraes, the players introduced. Telles, Fred and Rodrigo, those that have made way. Eder Militao. Back for Bremer. Bremer's got Marquinhos to his left. Just plays it down to Marquinhos, the PSG player who made one very brief appearance at the last World Cup. Started the first 2 games of this one, but one of the 9 rotated out of the side tonight. He just drifts out of the left flank and controls the ball. Plays it back, but under duress to Bremer, who's had it nicked off him. But Anguissa, having done the hard work, then couldn't play the ball in towards Abubakar. Edison rolling it out quickly, but that one's been seized upon in the midfield as well by Gamela. But he didn't have it for long, and Brazil will play it forward out of the left-hand side, and an opportunity to try and make headway with Martinelli. Differing runs in the middle for him. He's gone for goal, and that's a better save from Apache. He's gone towards the top right-hand corner, and he's dived up, stuck a strong right hand above his head and tipped it away for a corner.
Yeah, golden rule there. Great movement from Martinelli, looking to come inside and open the goal up. Golden rule for defenders. Never, ever let them come inside you. If they do, you've got every chance of conceding. But I've got to say, Apache, fantastic save.
Corner to be taken on the Brazilian right. They had 6 corners in the first half. This is their first of this second. Anthony's going to take it. Anthony's left-footed delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's easily headed away. Comes back out for Everton Ribeiro, one of the Brazil-based players in the side. Shot comes in, and it's tipped round the post for the second time of asking. Far from convincing. It was Eder Militao with the effort. A low right-footed skidding shot which would have gone just inside the bottom left-hand corner. The goalkeeper got down, was helping it towards goal, and then just recovered to flick it round the post. He's been unorthodox and far from convincing, but he's still got a clean sheet against Brazil to his name. But for how much longer? 57 gone, it's 0-0. Another Brazilian corner. This one will be worked in from the left flank. And away swinger towards the penalty spot, which is headed away by Koundé. Not brought down effectively by the Brazilian back line. Dani Alves losing out in there. Bruno Guimaraes with a poor touch as well. And Brazil try and bring it forward, but Alves was fouled, and they've taken the free kick quickly. Out to the left-hand side of the box for Everton, Ribeiro. Good ball across the edge of the penalty area. Anthony on his left foot. And the goalkeeper tips an effort wide that was probably going wide anyway. But it goes out of play for another corner.
Yeah, goalkeeper nowhere near knowing his angles for his goal, really. And even when he got across and it was going well wide, he should have held the ball. Instead, he's given Brazil the opportunity to pop the ball in the box again.
Denis Passe, French-born goalkeeper who played in the Greek top flight. He's currently playing in Saudi Arabia. Not necessarily going to win the Golden Glove in this tournament. In comes the corner. Goalkeeper caught in no man's land, headed past him, but cleared. And the goalkeeper has collided with the post, and immediately the referee stopped play so that he can receive some treatment, and that looked like a pretty hefty collision.
Yeah, to say, I think it's Bremer coming in behind him, and whether it was the post or the challenge, but looks as though it's Polak's there on the far post. It's backing off. It was Bremer coming right over the top of him, and then he clattered his top of his neck, I think, or back on the goalpost. Yeah, I don't think it was his head, though.
Yeah, he wouldn't have seen it coming, so he wasn't in a position that he could brace. He had the two centre-halves coming in behind him, and that would have been a hefty collision. Well, they've got one more goalkeeper on the bench. Simon Ingapanduetnabo, who plays his club football for Marseille. Sure, you're looking at me with admiration. I'm not being rude to you. You haven't a clue whether I've got that right or not.
Not a clue, but you've convinced me. I'm that gullible. You've definitely convinced me you've got it right and nailed it, and I just hope he doesn't come on.
Well, Cameroon possibly hope he doesn't have to come on as well. He's made 20-odd appearances in his career. They've come in the French 4th division for Marseille's B team. Yet to make a senior club appearance in his career. He's only 19. He's got a big future ahead of him as well as a big name. But I don't know whether Cameroon's third choice goalkeeper is going to be pressed into action. Passes back on his feet. He's able to continue for now. And Simon Ingapanduetnabo sits back down again.
Yeah, I had a feeling that they couldn't afford the lettering on the shirt. That's why they couldn't play him regularly.
I bet you it says Simon on the back of his... I bet you anything it says Simon on the back of his shirt.
It's Bob.
It's a free kick which will be taken on the Cameroonian left. 0-0 the score. They have to put themselves into a position where if they get the favour that they need up country from here, then they will be able to make the most of it. At the moment, Switzerland are leading Serbia 3-2, so this result is academic from a Cameroonian perspective. They've sent the free kick inside the box. It's flicked away by Dani Alves, brought down just outside the box by Gabriel Jesus. He was fouled by Mbomo. And a free kick has gone Brazil's way, 10 yards outside their own penalty area. Jesus just picking himself back up to his feet a little bit gingerly, and now just down on his haunches again. Just feeling his right ankle. Bremer just picked up a knock as well. He's okay, he's going to be able to continue. Serbia 2, Switzerland 3. It remains in that astonishing game elsewhere. 2-2 at half-time. Last World Cup group game, incidentally, that was 2-2 at half-time was back in 1958. It ended up 7-3. The ball towards the edge of the penalty area. A little pull of the shirt on Anthony after probably 3 twists. He did well. Double Salco was pretty impressive as well. The Cameroonian back line get it away. Anthony, though, bamboozling everybody but unable to get a killer ball inside the penalty area. And again, Brazil win it back in midfield and get it forward. Everton Ribeiro stretching on the edge of the penalty area. Got it from his right foot towards his left, but it was knocked away from him by Koundé. Choupo-Moting can help it further forward. Now Cameroon will get it down towards the left flank for Tolo, the fullback, who was cautioned in the early stages but has recovered well. Goal in League One back home. Morecambe leading Exeter by a goal to 0. Cole Stockton with that. Elsewhere it's As You Were. And we'll bring you the news of the goals in our feature games and the half-time details from them as well when the whistles go. This one 0-0 between Cameroon and Brazil at Lusail Stadium. A crowd of just over 80,000 enjoying the occasion, but it's not been the most dramatic thrills and spills game that we've seen this week so far. But a long way to go. A Cameroon goal would certainly change things around. Because if Cameroon were to score next, then either another goal for Cameroon or a goal for the Swiss, and Brazil would be off the top of the group. Cameroon contemplating making a change, which will be their first. And they're going to be bringing Toko Ekambi on. He was the man that got the goal that got them to the World Cup in the first place. The late winner in Algeria that saw them through on away goals back in March. Anthony picking it up again. Plays it back towards Dani Alves. Dani Alves into the feed on the edge of the penalty area. Trying to make something happen. Marquinhos can get it out to the left-hand side of the penalty area, and it's driven in by Martinelli. Hit the nearest Cameroonian defender, Koundé, with an acrobatic but effective overhead kick, can get it away. And then there's a foul in the next phase of players. Abubakar is brought down in the midfield, and Cameroon have a free kick, and they will be able to make the change. And it is Abubakar that will come off. And Karl Toko Ekambi, who plays his club football in France for Lyon, who will come on to replace him. He's got a decent record, the French-born winger, 9 goals in his last 17 internationals. In fact, Mbermo, who's coming off, I beg your pardon, Mbermo to be replaced. And Brazil will make another change as well, and they're going to bring Pedro on. So Pedro, who came off the bench to score against Tunisia in September, on for just his 3rd cap. A Flamengo striker who has been banging them in for fun in the Brazilian league over the last year, replacing Gabriel Jesus, who had just picked up that knock. So that's a straight swap up front. Pedro on. 26 goals for Flamengo this season. He only started 27 games, so that's a decent return. He's up top now alongside Everton Ribeiro. Brazil playing with a 4-4-2 at the moment, and the ball goes out of play for a throw that the Brazilians will take on the far touchline, which is their left.
I think Cameroon won't get a better chance than this. We spoke in depth about the draw being so important. So is the order of play, when you play certain teams, and they've ended up playing Brazil last when Brazil have got 6 points in the bag. And I'll tell you what, this at the moment is a half-cocked Brazil, and Cameroon won't get a better chance of winning a game.
Still 3-2 to Switzerland. The group as it stands: Brazil 7, Switzerland 6, Cameroon 2, Serbia 1. The Brazilians with Martinelli running towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to thread it forward for the left-back Marquinhos, and it just goes past him and straight out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by a passing away to our right, in front of just a sea of yellow behind that goal. It's a wonderful stadium here at Lusail. They call it the Lusail Iconic Stadium. When you call a stadium iconic, you kind of got to have a good blueprint for it and hope that your architect is fully qualified. They have made this to look absolutely magnificent. Looks like a bowl from the outside in what passes for being gold. Inside, it's just a big wave on the higher tier, which, if you can visualise the Marseille Stadium, looks a little bit like that, but is bigger, holding 90,000 here, almost 50% bigger again than Marseille. It's just a simply wonderful sporting spectacle.
I think the illuminations around the top tier as well make it, don't they? Incredible.
Yes, they've got like electronic advertising hoardings effectively that go round, as you mentioned, the top tier in a wave, all set up in light blue at the moment, just saying FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. It's almost impossible to take your eye off it. The game, it could be argued tonight, not quite the same. It's all beginning to spill over, I understand, in that Switzerland-Serbia game, that the Swiss still lead by 3-2, but the benches emptied out a few moments ago. Some cards being shown. Don't think any reds. Still Switzerland leading 3-2 and still going through. Apassi, the Cameroonian goalkeeper, controls the ball. It's played forward down the right. Brought under control by Gamela. And Toko Ekambi will make a run down the left. Gamela's swapped flanks since Mbermo's gone off. Everton Ribeiro bringing it forward towards the edge of the area here for Brazil. Challenge comes in, a hefty one on him, but clean. Really well defended that by Tolo. And Toko Ekambi with a long-ranging switch of play out towards the Cameroonian right. Gamela playing it back for Choupo-Moting with a shock of blonde hair in towards Abubakar, but he couldn't get there in time. He's looking weary, and Brazil are going to be able to bring it away, but then will be stopped because there's a player down injured, a Brazilian player down injured inside the Cameroonian penalty area. It's Everton Ribeiro. He's getting back to his feet and then goes down. He gets hold of the back of his neck. I think he's going to be okay. He's not going to need any treatment, but the referee just stopping play. We're midway through the second half. It's Cameroon 0, Brazil 0, and these are the thoughts of the former England World Cup defender Stuart Pearce.
Just looking at that Tolo challenge, absolutely magnificent challenge. If he'd have got that a centimetre wrong, well, someone would have been going to hospital and there'd have been a penalty. Incredible.
And he almost certainly would have been sent off for a second bookable offence as well. Cameroon make another change. Koundé off. And it's Olivier Cham, the Swansea player, who will come on. Another one of the French-born contingent in this Cameroonian squad. The former Manchester City trainee who made nearly 150 appearances for Celtic. And that Andre Villas-Boas didn't take to at Marseille. And Cham on to replace Koundé in the heart of the midfield. Brazil have possession at the heart of their back line. Remains 0-0. That's enough for Brazil to win the group. Fabinho played down towards the right-hand side for Anthony. Anthony clipping it forward through the midfield. Dani Alves caught in possession. And then another free kick goes Cameroon's way. It has become really fragmented. It's very stop-start the last 15 minutes or so. I don't think Tite has been given too many difficult decisions to make tonight by the performances of the shadow players in his squad. I don't think there are too many who've staked a real claim to be part of the starting lineup for the match against, as it stands at the moment, South Korea, which is the round of 16 tie 7 o'clock Monday night.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Also, as well, I think Rigobert Song will be a bit disappointed maybe with his team that they've maybe not really gone after this game as up to this moment. You know, I think they've got 20 minutes to keep their hopes alive in the competition, and I don't know, there isn't that driving energy in the team that you think of a team that are desperate to stay in it. I mean, we saw that with Japan yesterday, I thought.
Now that Japan victory yesterday against Spain, one of the most remarkable results of a simply stunning group stage in this World Cup. Seeing Japan qualify, as I was saying earlier, it's the first time that a World Cup will have 3 teams from the Asian Confederation in the last 16, because Japan joined today by South Korea and previously by Australia as well. But Brazil will bring the ball forward. Marquinhos out to the left flank. We're brought under control by Martinelli. Pedro making a run towards the edge of the penalty area, but there's no cross forthcoming for him. Still Serbia 2, Switzerland 3, and still 0-0 in this one. Ball played down to Dani Alves. Dani Alves towards the edge of the penalty area. Flick round the corner by Bruno Guimaraes to Anthony. Anthony all left foot, trying to go round his man on the outside, was blocked off by Tolo. Anthony went down, couple of rolls. Referee says play on, and I think he got it right. It's Toko Ekambi on halfway, has it for Cameroon, and it's played forward to Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa, who's ripping it up in Italian football at the moment with Napoli. He's had a brilliant start to life at the Maradona Stadium. Anguissa has it again, but play stops because the young centre-half Christopher Wu has fouled his man. Pedro brought down, back on his feet very quickly. Guimaraes driving forward from the free kick into the feet of Pedro. 2 Cameroonian players converge on him very quickly and he can't get the shot in. Half cleared by Anguissa, but only half. Dani Alves. Back to Bruno Guimaraes, to Anthony. Anthony getting it back again from Everton Ribeiro. Bruno Guimaraes. And I think Ribeiro sensed he was offside, and Anthony couldn't get there in time. The ball from Guimaraes straight out of play. And it's a goal kick. Cameroon 18 minutes away from what would be a positive result and a famous draw for them, but they need more than that.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they don't look as though they've got the quality to hurt Brazil, and I think Brazil were just, I wouldn't say going through the motions, probably slightly above that, but certainly not at full throttle in this game.
This is a Brazilian squad that haven't reached the final for 20 years since they last won it in 2002, and since then 3 quarter-final eliminations and a semi-final. They're on the front foot again towards the edge of the penalty area, but there isn't any finesse about the passing from those in blue and white tonight. It's a night where it hasn't looked like Brazil because they're in the change kit. They haven't played like Brazil either, but they got an opportunity here with Guimarães leaning back edge of the area. And saw Anguissa was bearing down on him very quickly. He hurried his shot and fired it over the bar.
Yeah, Fife got the ball there, going into his own corner flag, and not one player offered any support to him at all. In the end, he's ended up losing the ball. And Guimarães on the edge of the box just fired high and wide under pressure.
Well, the last time Cameroon won a game was against Burundi back in June. Since then, they've failed to beat Jamaica and Panama. They've lost to Switzerland and South Korea, and lost at home to Uzbekistan. But they're holding Brazil at the moment. 0-0 the score, 73 gone. Eder Militao, high ball driven into the Lusail night sky. Martinelli, ever willing, chases after it, took a lively bounce. Martinelli headed it to stop it going out of play for a throw, but couldn't pick up the seconds, and then Faye is pushed over. Cameroonian right back wins a free kick. Half-time whistles beginning to go in our feature games back home. It has gone in League 2. Stevenage, Barrow, Ian Abraham.
Stevenage 1, Barrow 0. Jake Reeves, spectacular 25-yarder on 18 minutes separates these two sides. Barrow, one good chance, but Whitfield hit the side netting. Reeves hit the back of the net. Stevenage 1, Barrow 0.
So 1-0 at half-time in that game in League 2. And more half-time details to come when the whistles blow up and down the country. We've got 16 minutes to go in this one, plus stoppage time. There'll be a fair bit to be added because we've had 3 or 4 stoppages, particularly those 2 for Alex Tellez, will have put a fair few minutes on the clock here. And still 3-2 in the other game, which is live for you right now on TalkSport 2, as Switzerland continue to lead Serbia, which will be enough to take them through. Ball back with Apassi. And the goalkeeper playing it down to the left flank for Tolo. Tolo back to his goalkeeper. Passy brings it towards the edge of the penalty area. Didn't appear too sure where the ball was going next, but he worked it out to the right hand side. Now gets it back. The centre half split wide. Wu playing it via his goalkeeper to a boss, and Anguissa dropping in between the 2 centre halves. He can work it forward through the midfield for Cham. Little flick round the corner towards Toko Ekambi. It was overhit by Tolo, but it didn't stop him bellowing at his winger and asking the question why he hadn't made the ground up there on that left-hand side, but he stood no chance of getting on the end of it. Don't forget, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Netherlands in action against the United States, and at 7 it's Argentina against Australia as the round of 16 starts. No rest days between the group stage and the knockout stages in this World Cup. After that Argentina-Australia game, straight to live and exclusive radio commentary of Tyson Fury against Derek Chisora, the trilogy for the WBC World Heavyweight title. You can listen on air via your smart speaker or download the TalkSport app for free. Start the night with Messi, finish it with Fury, only on TalkSport. Crowd announced here, just a shade under 86,000. Be a few less than that at Peterborough tonight, but the half-time whistle has gone there. Ian Stringer.
Peterborough 1, Barnsley 1. The opener on the 11th minute from Connell was a rasper into the bottom corner. Taylor, with his 4th of the campaign in the 22nd, levelled it up. And between then and half-time, the Posh have been the better side. 4 chances, none of them testing the goalkeeper. Half-time, Peterborough 1, Barnsley 1.
Also half-time in League 1, Charlton 0, Cheltenham 0. Half-time at Bolton as well, Graham Beecroft.
Yes, Bolton Wanderers 0, Bristol Rovers 1. The goal coming after a minute. Smart move down the right-hand side. Beautiful ball into the middle. And there was, right in the middle, Josh Coburn to stab the ball home from close range. Apart from that, not too many opportunities. Joey Barton's been yellow-carded by the referee, though. Half-time then here, it's Bolton Wanderers 0, Bristol Rovers 1.
Old habits die hard. Half-time coming up from Ipswich in a few moments' time. Still playing, though. Here's Dani Alves picking it up for Brazil in the midfield. And the night that he's won his 125th cap and potentially his last. A play forward into the feet of Bruno Guimarães, who's operating just in behind striker Pedro. Dani Alves gets it back. He's in a more central role now. Out on the right-hand side, Anthony was waiting for a pass from Bruno Guimarães, but it never came. Cameroon won it back. Abubakar trying to make an early run forward between the 2 centre-halves. Toko Ekambi had to play it instantly to try and find him. He retained possession easily enough, but worked it back inside his own half for Anguissa. There's no real cutting edge from the indomitable Lions, but they will be able to bring it forward here with a decent, strong run towards the edge of the area from Ncham. Can he get the return ball? Can he feed Choupo-Moting? The answer to both of those questions was no. And Brazil in the blue shirts are just able to bring it away again. Clip forward, beautifully for Everton Ribeiro. He took Zambo Anguissa out of the game, and Everton Ribeiro will run towards the edge of the penalty area. Options to his left include Bruno Guimaraes. Pushed over, I thought. Referee, better play, said no. And no complaints from the Brazilian man. Stewart indicating he thought it was a dive, and Bruno Guimaraes, I think, guilty as charged. Toko Ekambi will bring it forward. Left-hand side of the penalty area here, right in the first challenge. Referee takes evasive action, gets out of the way, and Cham! Effort on target, but easy for Edison, diving to his right to make the save.
Yeah, up the other end, I think there was a definite dive there for me. Planted his feet and went down too easily. And probably the closest that Cameroon have come, certainly this half. Shot on target, goalkeeper comfortable.
Brazil are going to be bringing Rafinha on in a moment. That will be their final change. Marquinhos into Fabinho. Fabinho back for Eder Militao. Now to Dani Alves. His ball through the midfield for Anthony. Toko Ekambi winning it back. He's been very lively, bustling around through the midfield, and he's won a free kick here, which has been taken too quickly because Brazil are going to make the change. So while they bring Rafinha on, we'll get those half-time details from Ipswich and Alfie Reynolds.
Ipswich 1, Fleetwood 0 at half-time. Luke Wolfenden's goal inside 2 minutes remains the difference. Fleetwood grew into the game after a shaky start. Their best chance of an equaliser was Callum Morton's close-range effort, which was saved by Walton. Half-time, it's Ipswich 1, Fleetwood 0.
So here's Rafinha, who's scored a couple of goals for Barcelona since his summer move from Leeds, for whom he hit double figures last season. And he comes on for Anthony with 10 minutes to go. Cameroon working the ball out towards the right flank, win a corner as low cross is fizzed in. And he goes out of play for Cameroon's third corner, which will be taken over on the right-hand side. And if they are going to be able to find a winning goal, it certainly feels as though a set piece is going to be the most likely avenue for it. Toko Ekambi is going to go across to take this. Christopher Wu is forward. Anguissa is there by the penalty spot as well. Hands on hips, Abubakar, with 34 international goals to his name, is standing in space because Brazil have two men out man marking, everyone else zonal. In comes the corner and it's headed away. Comes back out the penalty area from Cham. Now to Abubakar, right-footed effort, via deflection, over the bar for another corner.
Yeah, putting a bit more pressure on now, Cameroon. Couple of corners coming in. Still, they don't convince me that they can get a goal. They really don't.
In the 80-minute mark, if Cameroon were to score, then that would mean the Swiss would be a goal away from winning the group in their game with Serbia. In comes this corner in towards the near post. It's a real air shot from Wu, high up in the air. Didn't make any significant contact, didn't get the ball towards goal. Cameroon, having pushed everybody forward, have left themselves prone to a counter-attack. Cameroon are struggling here, and Abubakar has literally wrestled Martinelli to the ground. The most clear-cut yellow card you will ever see. He was chasing after him, and he almost had to rugby tackle him to stand any chance of bringing him down, because such was Martinelli's pace that even throwing himself headlong at him, he couldn't really get there. And Everton Ribeiro looks at the referee, he looks at Abubakar, and he just winks. Abubakar picking up a yellow card.
Well, I've got to say, I did say to all my friends at Warrington Wolves I would find us a new prop forward for the new season, which we vitally need. And Abubakar certainly fits the bill with tackles like that. Brilliant.
So Abubakar in the book. And this is the first start of the tournament. And a free kick goes Brazil's way. Two in the Cameroonian wall. Free kick is almost exactly level with the right-hand edge of the box. It's 4 yards outside that penalty area. So an angle for a left-footed in-swinging delivery. Dani Alves stands over it. It could be a right-footed away swinger from him into 5 Brazilian players, all of whom are standing in that far post area, really. But Rafinha also might fancy his chance of trying to bend this round the wall and into what looks to be a pretty hefty gap, top right-hand corner. Who's it going to be? Dani Alves, too low and flat, easily headed away. 0-0 it remains with 8 minutes to go. It's not been a a masterclass at either end, truth be told. Edison outside his penalty area, side-footing it nonchalantly to Dani Alves. Does he know any other way? Ball played in towards Ongisa, who got there ahead of Bruno Guimaraes. Cameroon again able to pick it up in the midfield. Remember, they have only taken one World Cup point in the last 20 years since their last victory in this tournament against Saudi Arabia. Will they be able to pick up a positive result here that will give them a crumb of comfort, really, to add to that 3-3 draw with Serbia 4 days ago? Abubakar losing out. 6 goals in their game on Monday, none so far tonight. One might give them a famous win, as I mentioned earlier, in the ELO ratings in terms of the world rankings. Cameroon 55 and Brazil 1. It would actually be the biggest shock in World Cup history if Cameroon were to win this game. No side has ever beaten a side 54 places higher than it in that list. It's going all the way back to 1930. Dani Alves through to Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes away from Ongisa, and still he goes, driving the Newcastle fans' favourite out of the right-hand side of the area for Rafinha, who's got past his man Tolo, pulling it back, and it's across the face of goal and wide. Glorious opportunity. Fell Bruno Guimaraes' way, but he couldn't make quite enough contact near post. It's a deflection, goes out for a corner, but he has collided with Wu, and maybe the post as well, and he's down in some pain inside that 6-yard box. It will be a Brazilian corner, though.
Well, I've got to say, Tolo, having had a really tough start against Anthony, has ended up... I thought he played really well against Anthony to get himself back in the game. Then all of a sudden, Rafinha comes on the pitch and goes past him as he's not there. He must be thinking, well, you got any more on the bench for me?
6 to go, and Brazil's corner count up into double figures. But none of them have been great, and that one was a case in point. Easily knocked away by the Cameroonian back line. And Bruno Guimaraes picks up a yellow card, stopping the Cameroon counter-attack in its infancy. So Guimaraes in the book. We've had 6 carded tonight. It hasn't been a dirty game by any stretch of the imagination, but there have been some frantic last-ditch challenges at times that haven't been particularly well-timed. Cameroon are going to make another change. Bekele will come on. Jerome Bekele, 24-year-old winger who plays his club football in Cameroon. He had a brief spell in the 2nd division in the United States, and he'll come on straight swap for Gamela. So one winger coming off, another coming on. Bekele will get 5 minutes plus stoppage time to make an impression.
Yeah, I've just seen a couple of challenges on the pitch, one from each team, that, you know, it's just stopped attacks, it's pulled people back, it's lazy defending. It almost needs more than a yellow card. I don't know whether 10 minutes in a sin bin, that type of thing, would be imposed in football. It's not a red, but it's certainly more than a yellow.
Yeah, here Cameroon with Ongisa outside the penalty area in a central position. Cham. Now Bekele, right-footed ball inside the penalty area, needed to be stood up towards the penalty spot where Abubakar was waiting. Instead it was driven low across the 6, and Bremer could easily knock it away.
Oh, great movement to set up the opportunity to cross, and all you've got to do, as you rightly say, Jim, just stand it up to the far post with an invitation on it that says, come on, come over the top of the defenders and score a goal.
Cameroon just minutes away from what will be only their 2nd clean sheet in their last 22 World Cup games. Brazil, for their part, not too far away from yet another clean sheet. It'll be their 10th in 13. And for Edison, it will be his 12th in 19 internationals. Rafinha driving towards the edge of the Cameroonian penalty area. It's repelled, but only as far as Dani Alves. He drives it long towards the edge of the box. Guimaraes flicking it on, and Pedro didn't read it, didn't make the run in behind the centre-half, and ball ends up in the hands of a passing, and it remains 0-0 with 4 to go.
Yeah, I get the impression there he was stretching for it rather than a pass, you know, not much distance to find the player behind the back line with the goalkeeper right behind him.
The last game that Brazil didn't win was against Ecuador back in January. They Not too far away from extending their unbeaten streak to 18 since they lost that Copa America final last year. But can they get the win and the perfect record at the end of the group? Nobody else got one. Can Brazil? Here's Rafinha trying to supply the cross. Shuffled it left foot, then right. Tolo again, who Stuart said has grown into the game, just able to flick the ball away. Brazil going through as group winners as things stand. Switzerland going through with them. They lead by 3 goals to 2, but an equaliser for Serbia in that game will just give Cameroon the merest glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. Because if Serbia score and then Cameroon can follow suit, then Cameroon would go through. Ball is out of play for a throw to Brazil. Dani Alves takes it and receives the return ball. Rafinha, Pedro trying to get a shot in on the turn, and he's missed the target by 6 yards.
Yeah, off balance as he's spinning, probably had more time than he gave himself credit for, and as he swivelled round, left foot shot way high and wide.
Well, we've got an hour's fallout after this game. We'll be looking back over the whole group stage. I think one of the things that will be talked about, if he stays this way, be a Brazil side that have got through the group with 100% or not 100% record, with an unbeaten record, but having only scored 3 goals. It'll be very interesting to dissect the likely challengers. Everton Ribeiro bringing it forward towards the edge of the area. Pedro back heeling it back into the path of Bruno Guimaraes. Good covering again from the Cameroonian centre-halves, who are able to smuggle it clear and out of play for another throw. And they're only a minute away from stoppage time, with Cameroonian clean sheet still intact. Dani Alves playing in the feet of Fabinho, who's taken up a slightly more advanced role now. Down towards Rafinha. Rafinha trying to trick his way past 3 green shirts, and he's done really well to do so. Dani Alves fizzes a cross in. It was a poor one. Easily knocked away by Wu, who scuffed it towards the edge of the penalty area where his teammates could do the rest. And now they'll try and give Bekele something to chase, and he'll hair after it, the Cameroonian winger, wearing 2 but playing as a right winger. But the Brazilian back line get it back to goalkeeper Ederson again. Now he's made 2 saves in this game, one diving away to his right in the first half for the cameras, one a more routine stop in the second half. Would have been hugely disappointed that either of those got past him, but he has had 2 shots on target to deal with. Here's Bruno Guimaraes at the other end in the last seconds of the 90. Martinelli getting into the byline, pulls it back, and it's more good defending by Wu, stretching at the near post, steers it behind for a corner.
Well, the 4th official just put up 9 minutes, and I'm not sure. Well, Cameroon need a goal. I'm not sure they got the physicality to play 9 minutes. Brazil probably want the game over with because they don't need to play another 9 minutes. You can't help thinking there'll be a goal in this. A goal will decide it, and I think it's coming from Brazil. Cameroon look out on their legs at this moment in time.
It could be a long 9 minutes for them. We'll confirm as soon as we know how many extra minutes there are in the other game, Serbia against Switzerland. In comes the corner towards the edge of the penalty area. They've just gone into stoppage time there, and there are 7 of them. So that game's going to finish 2 minutes before this one. And they're almost exactly running with the same amount of time on the clock at the moment. So Cameroon could be in a position at the end of the game, depending on what happens there, that they've got 2 minutes to score a goal that would take them through. But we'll find out. Every chance, I would suggest, that Cameroon aren't going to score tonight.
Yeah, Tolo's just told his teammate he can't pick the ball up to take a throw-in, so he's certainly struggling big time.
And he's only been on the field about half an hour.
No, the left-back, he's been on all the time.
Tolo, I thought you said Tolo Akami, sorry.
No, sorry.
Tolo has... he's run his race, hasn't he? But he has put some effort in, and he's done well. As you mentioned, he has got better after a nervy start as the night has gone on. Did well against Anthony, but he's looking forward to the ice bath. Cameroon will play it out towards the right. Bekele. Now he has got a little bit of je ne sais quoi about him, and he's played it inside the penalty area, and amazingly, Aboubakar's headed it in. And right at the end of this game, Cameroon lead Brazil Just when you think you've seen every conceivable shot, Abubakar makes a barnstorming run through the penalty area, not picked up. Quality ball finds him from Bekele. It's not enough to send Cameroon through yet, but they're giving themselves a fighting chance. We've seen some epic victories in the 2022 World Cup. We've seen some inconceivable storylines. We've seen some inconceivable scorelines, and this tops the lot. Cameroon, ranked outside the top 40 in the world, lead Brazil in stoppage time, a Brazil side who've only conceded once in the last 31 games.
And he's off.
Abubakar took his shirt off to celebrate and has been booked the obligatory yellow card, but having already been booked for that rugby tackle a few minutes ago, he's been sent off. So Cameroon score, but they're down to 10 men.
Well,
the Brazilian defence breached for the first time in the tournament. They've got a lot of work to do to protect their 100% record now. Bekele's cross, Abubakar's header, the most famous goal in Cameroonian football history, but will it be the winning goal? They've got 5 minutes to hang on with 10 men to this 1-0 lead, and if Serbia can find an equaliser, Cameroon will go through.
Jim, you just cannot write the script anymore at this World Cup. It's incredible. An incredible cross and a brilliant header. I've got to say, absolutely textbook, both the cross and the header. But you run off, you celebrate the excitement of it, you take your shirt off, and all of a sudden, referee has got no choice. I know he's not popular around the stadium, but you can't make allowances, I'm afraid. And they're going to have to hang on with 10 men. With probably about 5 minutes to go.
Well, in the Serbia-Switzerland game, the news will have come to them that Cameroon lead here. So if Switzerland score in that game, they would win the group. If Serbia score in that game, they'll both be out and Cameroon will go through. But it's all going off there again. Granit Xhaka heavily involved. Remember, he had a part to play in the famous match between them that really stoked the tensions a few years ago. Yellow cards being shown to Xhaka and Mitrovic, and another big scuffle there, but it remains 3-2. It's live on TalkSport 2. Here, Cameroon lead Brazil in stoppage time by a goal to nil. A 92nd minute goal that will live long in the memory. And those at the Lusail iconic stadium, stunned into near silence. Are Brazil going to blow top position in the group? There's still time. Can they protect their unbeaten record? Ball thrown inside the penalty area is headed wide by Pedro. That goes out of play for a goal kick. Cameroon 1, Brazil 0. There's been a goal at Stevenage as well, incidentally. Ian Abrahams.
Stevenage 2, Barrow 0. Goalkeeper Farman came out of his goal and was lobbed by Jamie Reid from all of 30 yards out. Stevenage 2, Barrow 0.
Here, it's Cameroon 1, Brazil 0. Abubakar with the goal in the second minute of stoppage time. Removed his shirt, picked up a second yellow card and was sent off. Cameroon down to 10 men, protecting this lead. We're playing 9 added minutes. Doncaster 0, Walsall 1 in League 2. Just when you think you've seen it all. Japan beating Germany and Spain. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. Cameroon leading Brazil. The ball on the edge of the penalty area. Marquinhos clipping it inside the box, and the header is caught by the goalkeeper. Bruno Guimaraes didn't get the power. Passe trotted across his line and made the save, and Cameroon edge ever closer.
Well, just a demonstration there on how not to head the ball. I think he'd thrown his head at it before the ball arrived, and the ball headed him.
2.5 minutes of the 9 remain. My guess is they'll add at least another minute onto that after the Cameroonian celebration. So probably 3.5, 4 minutes of time to try and withstand these Brazilian attacks. The 10 indomitable Lions still on the field, trying to defend with resilience and resolution. Eder Militao, play down towards the right-hand side. Dani Alves, high hanging cross, heading back in and wide. Marquinhos at the far post, back down towards the edge of the 6. Martinelli leaning back, couldn't get a decent contact, and it's brushed off his forehead and gone wide.
Well, they're riding their luck now, Cameroon, all over the place defensively, but Brazil just can't get a clear effort at goal.
It doesn't have any material effect on Brazil as things stand at the moment. If Switzerland win the other game by just 1 goal, and Brazil lose this by just 1 goal, then Brazil will go through on goal difference. But Switzerland would have the advantage on goals scored if either they or Cameroon score again. So close at the end. And if Serbia score again, it's Cameroon who go through. All to play for with only moments remaining. Marquinhos out to the Brazilian left. Brazil trailing Cameroon here 1-0. Martinelli to Marquinhos again. Away from Bekele. Cross comes in, it's headed away by a boss who's done well on only his 3rd international appearance to centre-half. Dani Alves with another deep ball, looking to try and head it back in towards Marquinhos, who chests it down, and he's volleyed almost inexplicably over the bar. Bruno Guimarães has had a stack of chances tonight. He's not been able to take them, and a few Brazilian fans in the crowd boo. Just chested down into his path. The bounce was awkward. He had to hook his right foot underneath it, but it went way over the bar, and Cameroon are nearly there. The 9 minutes, the minimum 9 minutes, are up.
Yeah, the bounce of it just would not come down, and he's in mid-air, and he just couldn't get his foot over it to guide it on target. Anything on target, it's hit the back of the net.
Still playing in that Switzerland-Serbia game. Serbia have a free kick. If they score from it, it could be the Cameroonian miracle. The 9 minutes are up here. There will still be a few seconds left to play. Dani Alves takes a throw. He's gone back for Fabinho. Fabinho playing it forward. Marquinhos now out to the left-hand side for Brazil. Can they find a late equaliser? The touch is heavy. It's rolled over the line. Out of play for a goal kick that Apassi will take his time over. And that might just about be that here at Lusail, where Brazil are going to lose to a side outside the top 40 in the world.
An incredible result for Cameroon. Whichever way you look at it, you know, it's not been the greatest of games, but they won't worry about that. With a record they went in, 55 ranking in the world, brilliant.
The full-time whistle goes. Think of any shock in a major football tournament you like, and this probably eclipses it. It is a quite astonishing victory. Don't worry about the identity of those in the Brazilian shirts tonight. They were representing Brazil, a Brazil who'd lost only once in 31 games, who hardly concede a goal, who are unbeaten in 17, but they've lost tonight to Cameroon, who in terms of one of the major football ranking charts have produced the biggest shock in World Cup history. We've seen Argentina lose to the Saudis. We've seen Tunisia beat France. We've seen Japan overcome Spain and Germany from behind. Tonight, we've seen Cameroon beat Brazil. It's a victory that is in vain for their World Cup hopes, because Switzerland have hung on to beat Serbia 3-2, and that means that they qualify and Brazil go through as group winners. But Brazil were lacklustre tonight, showing they've not got an awful lot in reserve. Cameroon were game. They gave themselves a puncher's chance. They supplied an astonishing goal in stoppage time from Abubakar, who was sent off for his celebrations, removing his shirt in disbelief and delight. Picked up a second yellow card, but the 10 men hung on for the most famous win in their country's football history. They will go home, but they'll go home with their heads held high. And Brazil will go into the knockout stages and face South Korea and know that they need drastic improvement on what they produced tonight. But match day 3 within the group stage of this World Cup has just been astonishing. Incredible storylines everywhere you look. And nowhere really was the incredulity higher than in Lusail tonight. It's finished. 10-man Cameroon 1, Brazil 0.